Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. First of all, I missed you guys. I haven't had a live monthly workshop since March 2021, so I just wanted to say welcome. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different for now to see if it works well for me. I'm actually going to pre-record my workshops only because I'm still taking care of my husband who has terminal cancer. And this will be easier for me. That way I can pre-record, I can pre-schedule, and when I give you a date and time, you know I'll be there, and I don't have to cancel on you. So today I think I have 7 projects for you, and you know I always start out with a technique or a card fold. So welcome. I hope you enjoy my workshop, and I hope to see you next month. So let's get stamping with our first project. Okay, so welcome. Again, I host a monthly online workshop. Some of you guys have been following me for a while and you join me each month. And as I go through the projects that I'm going to create today, when I get to the last 3 projects, those are my make and takes. I've listed a hostess code on all of the posts that you've seen on this page. And when you use the hostess code to place an order of $35 or more, you'll get the free card kits. And then for $50 or more, you either get an embellishment or a ribbon. So I'll announce more on that when we get to those. So today for my first project, I'm going to create a card fold. Let me bring everything that I need. We have lots of layers. And I'm actually using the Pansy Patch stamp set along with the Pansy dies. Now to save time, I did cut some of my layers ahead of time, but I wanted to go over the catalog with you just for a few seconds. So the Pansy Petals collection can be found on page 28 and 29. You can see the stamp set right here along with the dies. Now, we have a lot of choices with this collection, which I am so excited about. It was one of the first ones on my list. And I know I asked a question when I announced my workshop, what was the first product on your list? And a lot of you guys said this collection. Now, when you look at the stamps, you can actually use the stamped images along with the dies to cut out some of the flowers. You can also use some of these embossing dies. They actually emboss, like you see here on some of these samples. And the third option is to bring in the designer paper. I'm just going to quickly show you the sheets. Now this one I only have a little bit left. So this is one side of the 6 sheets. Here is the other side. And what is great about these, you get this one and this one that the dies will fit. So you can see here that you can cut out these flowers with the dies. And you'll see where I did for my card that I'm going to show you today. Let me just move these over. And then you can do the same thing with the leaves. All of these leaves here you can cut out with the dies. So again, you have the stamped images, you have the dies that emboss, and then you have the dies that cut out the designer paper. So lots of choices. So let me go ahead and bring in all of the supplies I'm going to need for my first card. The first card is a corner bookmark card. You can see here that this pulls out, so the recipient is still left with a beautiful card. And then when you get it ready to package, you just slide the corner bookmark on there. Isn't that neat? So that's what I'm going to show you today for my first project. Let me bring in all of the layers. We've got polished pink cardstock. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I'm going to go ahead and fold that on the score line. Then we have a layer of basic white, 4 by 5.25. I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. And this is a really quick card to assemble once you have all your pieces cut and measured. The next one is from the designer paper I just showed you, the Pansy Petals, which measures 5 by 3.75. First thing I'm going to do before I add that to the card front, I'm going to stamp the sentiment that you see right here. And that says, the little things you do make such a difference. Rich raspberry ink. What's really nice about stamping on this paper, you can use the little gingham lines going across. Let's see. So we're stamping direct to the designer paper. Now we can go ahead and glue that on, and I don't have any more stamping, so I'm going to put my ink away. We can go ahead and glue that. So the card is really quick to create. The bookmark has a few more layers than the card does. I'm going to add that right to the center. And then we have a doily, this vellum doily from the square vellum doilies. Now you get 24 in a package, and the item number on that is 152484. Now, when I planned my card, I knew that I was going to have these flowers in the middle of my doily. So that's actually where I'm going to add the glue. Looks like I did my sentiment a little bit higher than my first card. So let me just add that, knowing that my flowers will cover the stickiness that I just created. Now I'm going to go ahead and wait, because when I put this on, that's when I'm going to position my flowers. Now let's go ahead and bring in what we need for the corner bookmark. Quite a few layers. This is polished pink 4 by 4. And I did do the back side also, so we need 2 basic white, 3.75 by 3.75. And then the same paper we used on the card, the Pansy Patch, 3.5 by 3.5. So there's all my pieces. Now what I did to make it easier for myself is I created patterns. So I'm just going to bring out one pattern at a time. And we're going to start out with the polished pink. And I'm going to use a ruler and a pencil to mark 2-inch a tick mark on 3 sides. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Next, I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. And I've explained this several times on my Facebook page where I hold weekly classes. I don't know if I've ever done it on my workshop page. I drew a permanent black marker line at the 6-inch mark, and it comes in handy when you have to do angled scoring like I'm going to do here. So I'm going to go from the 2-inch to the 2-inch. So I'm just following, I'm lining this up right on that black line. It makes it so easy. Okay, there's my second score line. And then we're just going to fold and press that in place. Now the important thing to remember is to try to make sure that these are lined up. So you see where I grabbed it in the middle and then I pushed it outwards where it wasn't quite lined up, and it pushed out my score line. So there's my first step. And again, this is 4 by 4, and you just do a 2-inch tick mark on 3 sides and then score. Now, in order to keep this flat, I'm actually going to bring in my tear and tape. I'm just going to put a piece to hold those flaps down. And I'm not gonna peel the backing. I'm just using that there to hold it down for me. Now my next step, let me get my little cheat sheet. This was for the 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Cut 2. Tick mark is going to be at 1 7/8. So we're gonna measure 1 7/8, which is right there. I gotta make sure I did this right. Yeah, 1 7/8 3 times. You guys, I did these projects like probably close to a month ago. Okay, well, I'm just gonna check myself. Nope, that did not come out right. Wait a minute, I'll get the wrong one. I need to put this one. Oh, you know why? I'm grabbing the wrong. That's why it's not coming out. Number 2 is the white, not the designer paper. So let's try that again. No wonder I almost messed that up. I used the wrong layer. So step 2, basic white at 1 7/8. Okay, now let's see if this works out. It should. Yeah, perfect. Okay, but this time instead of scoring, we're actually going to cut. Okay, so there's my trimmer. We're gonna cut from tick mark to tick mark. And I could have done these by layering both of them at the same time and doing them both. Now let's double check ourselves. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to do this again. So again, 1 7/8. You can tell I'm a little rusty. I haven't been doing very many classes. I've just been really busy. Okay, so we're going to cut this one. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to have a layer for the front and a layer for the back. Okay, so let's glue those in place. I'm going to tuck this one to the back side and flip this over and do the front. Now you can glue this in place before you do your little triangles here, but it slides in there pretty easy. Okay, so there's layer number 2. Now I need to erase these little pencil marks that I did that are wrong. And we're gonna do something a little different with one of these. Okay, so this was layer number 2. So let me pitch that so I don't use it again. Now this time, this piece is 3.5 by 3.5. And we're going to actually measure down 1 3/4 inch. And again, we're going to do that 3 times. And we're going to do this one the same as the white that we did. We're just going to cut, because this is going to be your back side. Okay, so let's flip this over, and this fits on there perfectly. So the back side will be completed. And I see some pencil marks there that I need to remove. Okay, now we're going to do the front. You'll notice on the front I have a piece on the little flap and a piece on the inside, and I've cut that down. So what we're going to do, we're going to go 1 3/4. And I get that on this piece. 1 3/4, and 1 3/4. I'm actually going to cut that. And I do need to do a white piece for the flap also that I haven't done yet. Okay. Now what we're going to do, you'll notice that this piece is 1 3/4, which is the same measurement on the flat part. So we're going to actually take this, bring it to 1 3/4. This is the piece that's going to go on the inside. But we're going to need to trim this one a little bit to make it fit. So we're going to put this on the 1.5 inch mark. We're just going to cut off a sliver. And you'll see that that'll fit right up top. So we just had to remove a little bit there to have the white sticking out. Now we have one more piece to cut. And for the last piece, for the white layering on the flap, all I actually did was cut a square 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. We're going to go ahead and cut that diagonally. So you got 2 pieces. You can use one for another card. We're going to glue this one first. So lots of layers on this corner full. You don't have to do all the layers if you want. You can skip some of them. Okay, that goes right there. And then I lost my, oh, there's my little piece. That's one I cut off. Now I need to trim that one just a little bit more. Let me see if I can get my other trimmer. Whoops, there goes my M&Ms. Just need to cut off about 1/8 of an inch. And that should layer nicely. Yes, there we go. And then we get to decorate the card and the bookmark. Okay, that goes there. And then this one is going to go right here on the bottom. Now we're ready to decorate the card and the bookmark. So let me bring in the pieces that I pre-cut. And you can see that I use the designer paper. So we're going to go ahead and glue. Now I want to put this in place because I want it to look nice when I decorate the card and the bookmark and assemble them together like this. I'm going to use dimensionals. I'm going to start out with the big flower, the big pansy. That's going to go right here. Then we're going to take and tuck this one. I'm going to need to bring it just a little lower, only because my sentiment is a little higher on this one. But it's going to work. There's my third pansy. And then I'm going to do one of each of these leaves. I'm just going to add liquid glue. And I'm going to tuck those under. Whoops, I almost put that one in upside down. Okay, there's my leaves. So when I put this one back, you can see that the pansy is going to go on the bookmark. So they look like they're working together because by putting the bookmark on the corner while you're decorating, you can pretty much figure out where you want to put your pieces. So I'm going to put that one there. And then we got the 2 leaves. I'm going to put the smaller leaf right here. And then the larger one right there. And our bookmark and our card are all complete. So there's project number 1. You can see how easy that is. I just had to trim one of my layers. But very nice cards, and they make a very nice gift. So let me go ahead and clear off my counter, and I will start out with my next set of 3 projects. Okay, before I start my next three projects of three, it's a set I'm going to make for you. I wanted to show you another set of products that I really fell in love with and I really think you need. This is the Beauty of the Earth designer paper. You can see the 6 sheets here on this side. And then when I flip them over, here's some more beautiful ones. But the one I want to focus on, because I have some exciting projects to show you, is this one here. It's a mirrored effect because you have the same design on each end. If you bring in the Beauty of Friendship stamp set along with the beautiful trees dies, I actually use this little tree and then the little birds to create some beautiful cards. And this is a quick one sheet wonder. Now let me bring the cards in so I can show you they're all the same, but I use different colors. So early espresso, cherry cobbler, old olive, cinnamon cider, Cajun craze, night of navy, misty moonlight, and evening evergreen. You can see they're all the same tree die, the same bird die, the little 1/2-inch strip, the little sentiment strip. And what is so easy about these, and these are slimline cards because they're a little taller than the normal card. All I did was take my designer paper, cut it in half at 6. Then you have 2 pieces that measure 12 by 6. Then I turned it this way and I cut 4 times at 3 inches. So you end up with 8 panels, no waste, and then you just finish up your cards by using all of the die cuts and the stamping that I showed you. So just something quick I wanted to show you. You'll see it on my blog. Now our next set of projects, I am using the hand penned Memories and More cards and envelopes. This is a set of 20 cards and envelopes. I love that everything is pre-printed. And for anyone that places an order with me this month through the hostess code, not only will you get the free card kits that I offer at the end, that you'll see at the end, you'll also get a set of 2 cards and 2 envelopes from this set. So let me show you what I made with these. So here are the 3 envelopes. And then what I did is I brought out my hand penned designer paper and I picked out the same pattern that you see in the envelopes. You can see here 6 different sheets. And look at the beautiful colors on the back. Now, for those of you that are new to stamping, one of the best ways to figure out what colors you're going to use is to pick out a sheet of designer paper. And if you go on the back of our designer paper, it has all of the colors listed there. So it makes it easy for you to coordinate your cardstock and your ink colors. Now, let me show you the cards. We're using the same layers on all 3. But what I did is I have the sentiment on the top, the sentiment on the bottom, and then I turn this one sideways. Same layers, just different orientation on the sentiment layer. So let me go ahead and bring in what I need. I am using the Stamparatus today. And then I am also using Tuxedo Black Memento ink, Garden Green, Pool Party, and Cinnamon Cider. And again, I found these colors on the back of the cardboard piece that I just showed you. I've gone ahead and used the layering circles dies, which would be number 2 with Pool Party. So I cut 3 of those. Now let me get my ruler. Basic white, we're going to need 3, measuring 5 by 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we have the designer paper, 3, measuring 4 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then the sentiment layers are the same width, but of course one card is going this way, so you need a piece that's a little bit longer. So they're all 1.5, but this one is 4 3/4 inches long, and then 2 that are 2 3/4 inches long. So let me go ahead and show you my first step. We're going to be using the Stamparatus. Let me dig out one of the cards. Now I do have a white layer here, and I used the Stamparatus because I wanted all 3 layers to be exactly the same. So I have a larger piece of white. You don't need to measure it as long as the punch fits in the center. You're going to cut one out. And we're using this as a template. And then we need 2 more of these. So we need 3 total. And this is using the Label Me Lovely punch. Now what we're going to do is open up. Actually, I'm going to go sideways. And I need my little foam insert. And that is because we're using the photopolymer stamp, so we need the extra height. So now I'm going to use this as my template. Let me get my magnets to hold that in place. I just put this on a block so I know where it was, but this is the stamp I'm using to do the circle. So I'm going to take one of my punched layers and put it back in the hole. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to line up my flower how I want it. Pick it up with the this thing. I can't remember what it's called. The clear plate. So now we're ready to stamp. I think I'm going to add a scrap under there just so that I don't get my little layer all dirty. And I'm going to start out with the Memento black ink. This just sticks to the stamp only because it hasn't been inked yet. Okay, I need to make sure that's nice and flat. Bring this in so you guys can see it. We're going to ink the stamp. Tap, tap, tap. Press down. Okay, there's my first one. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. So you can see that these are all going to be the same. Tap, tap, tap. Make sure that's in the right spot. Press down. There's number 2. See how they're twins. They're identical. We're going to have triplets by the time we're done. There's my third one. Tap, tap, tap. And look how quickly I did that, because it's so easy with the Stamparatus. Now we're going to do the coloring that goes on the inside of the flowers. So we need the little flower with Pool Party. Now I wanted my flowers to be a little bit lighter, so what I did is I inked and I stamped on my scrap paper. So we're going to do 3 of those. If I can grab it. These are meant to be watercolored, so even if you have a little bit of white space, that's how they're meant to be. Okay, next one is going to be the large flower with cinnamon cider. And I did the same thing. I inked, stamped on my scrap. And you guys, you can do this with the Stamparatus if you want also, but these are pretty easy to line up. And you can see that I have some white space. It just looks like a watercolored masterpiece. Okay, there's those 3. Last is the little leaves. And this is Garden Green. Now what I did with this, I'm going to bring a Post-it note in because I'm going to show you up close. You can see that this leaf kind of goes under the flower. I don't want the green ink to go on my petal. So I'm actually going to just mask it. Okay, so we've got green on the scrap. And when, see how it would have stamped on the flower, now that I take that off, it's underneath. Just a little masking trick. So we've got 4 leaves to do on this one. I'm going to bring the little one in to do the tiny one. Whoops. And see how cute that is. Pretty colors. So again, we're going to use the Post-it note. For those of you that are new, this is called stamping off. You stamp off on scrap paper first, and then you get the lighter color when you stamp on the image. Okay, 1 more to go. So we're going to mask 1 more time. Remove the Post-it note. So you can see how dark my inks would be if I went full force. That's why I decided to go, I wanted it lighter, so I'm stamping off. Okay, there's the 3 of these all done. Now let me bring the cards in so you guys can see how they're set up. So 1, 2, 3. This is so quick. So we're going to glue the designer paper to each of these white pieces. Oh, I love this side too. Do you guys do that sometimes? Sometimes I have designer paper and the both sides I just love, and it's so hard to cover. But you can buy another pack, right, when you run out. Okay, here's number 2. 1 more. Oh, and I went and put my pool party ink away, and I still need it to do the sentiment. Okay, there's number 3. Now I forgot to take out 3 cards. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we need 3 envelopes to go with this set. And I have a whole other pack of these. So like I said, the first 8 people that place an order, you'll get 2 of these. So let me fold all of these. They're all pre-scored on the score line. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. We're going to glue these right in the center. So this one's going to go horizontal, right in the middle. I love these pre-printed cards and envelopes that Stampin' Up! Always comes up with. We always have some in each new catalog, so I like to show them to you because we get involved with the designer paper and the stamps, and sometimes we miss some of the products. I bet you there's some of you watching that didn't even notice these. Okay, now we're going to do the sentiment layers. I'm actually just going to glue them in place because I want to put my circles so I'll know where to stamp. So you have to make sure you stamp really well and don't mess it up. So there's the first one. It's a clear stamp, so I know that I can see well, so I know I can take a chance on doing that. Now I want these to be lined up in the same spot. Okay, now we're going to glue the 3 circles, and then we're going to stamp the sentiment. And I did use dimensionals. I love the combination of the pool party with the yellow. I just think that looks so pretty, so cheery. I just love those 2 colors together. Okay, this one, actually I need to swap those. This one is like this one. So we're going to plop that one right there. Oh, you know what I did? I put this one, I did this wrong. They don't need to be lined up. One's supposed to be higher than the other. I'm going to cover up that little boo-boo with the circle. You won't even know, and you guys better not tell either. Okay, that's gonna go right there. I forgot I had one on top and one below the sentiment. The third one is off to the side. So that one's gonna go right here. Now I'm gonna bring in the thanks because I can see where I am stamping. This one's gonna go below the circle. Oh, I messed up. Hold on, I gotta wipe that. I think my label's gonna cover that. The joys of stamping live, almost live. Of course, this is pre-recorded, but I'm not gonna take the time to redo that. I think my label will cover it. And then this is gonna go off to the side. So there's my 3 sentiments. Now all we have left to do is to glue these in place, again with dimensionals. And let's see how good we can cover this little boo-boo. See, I make boo-boos just like you guys. Okay. So these cards are almost done. I'm gonna do that one last. Okay, there's this one. It's gonna go right in the center. I'm looking here to make sure this is lined up nice and straight. So there's that card. And then we've got this one. And again, I'm making sure that's lined up nice and straight. There's card number 2. Okay, let's see. I think some of that is still gonna peek out, but I don't think it's gonna be too bad. No, look, you can't even see it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so there's card number 2, 3, and 4. So that was the first set I created, along with the 3 envelopes. And here's my second set. And I will draw a name. Somebody's going to win all of the projects I create today, too. I'll probably do that on Monday. I'll announce the name. So what do you guys think? Isn't this a nice set? I just love these cards and envelopes. So again, let me go ahead and clear my counter. And I'm going to set up for the 3 make and takes that I'll be offering this month. I'll be right back. Okay, we are now in the final round of 3 cards that I'm going to create with you. But I wanted to show you a couple announcements before I end with my make and take projects. So for those of you that haven't found me yet on our group page, I have weekly classes that I call Afternoon Tea Time and a Card. I usually go live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And I wanted to give you a sneak peek. I gave everybody a sneak peek last week of what's coming up. Let me see if I can cover most of my card. Okay, I'm going to bring this in. This is a sneak peek of the one of the 2 projects I'm going to create with a technique, so you guys can see here. And I'm going to kind of give it away a little bit by showing you what is up for Paper Pumpkin this month coming for June. And you must be subscribed by June 10th. Expressions in color. So this is the little tip that they gave us. And it looks like there's going to be 2 ink Stampin' spots this time with an exclusive stamp set. So you can guess by looking at the background what we're going to be doing. And I had already planned my class for next week. And it's going to be similar to what you see here. So make sure you find me, Stampin' Ink Designs group on Facebook. And ask to join the page so you can stamp with us. Okay, so let's get started on the last 3 projects. Now these are going to be 3 cards that are going to be the make and takes that you will get for free with a $35 order. And I'm throwing in with a $50 order the 3 card kits along with the blue adhesive backed gems because I'm using these on the projects today. So I am using the Flowers of Friendship bundle, which includes the stamp set and the flowers and leaves punch. I'm going to use that on all 3 cards. Most of all of the flowers you're going to see on 3 cards are going to be pre-punched for you. I'll explain the 3rd card when I get to it. So let's get started on card number 1. I'm doing different colors. This one I used Calypso Coral. Look how pretty those flowers are with the height. Those were all done with a punch. I am using Highland Heather and Fresh Freesia for this one. Now what I used, I went ahead and pre-cut my card base. I used this border from the Basic Borders, and all I did was put it right there and secured it in place with washi tape. And when it cuts, you'll see that there's some little dotted stitch lines there. It's so cute. I've gone ahead also and cut this label shape from the Hippo and Friends dies. You can see there's 4 sizes. We got some pretty label shapes in this set. It's a set of 25 dies. So that's the shape I'm using on this card in Basic White. I've gone ahead and pre-punched. So this is what you would get when with your kit when you receive it. We have 3 large flowers, 3 small, 3 large leaves, and 3 small. And with your kits, you're also going to receive 2 designer papers with 2 different patterns, and you flip it over. There's actually 4 different patterns. You might end up with a different color. I'm going to show you the colors that come in this package. You can see that I've used some already. But this is from the Subtles. So you'll get 2 of something. It'll be 2 colors. I'm going to split it up between everybody that orders. So I'm using Highland Heather this time. I'm going to set one of these aside. Let me see which one for card number 3. This one goes with card number 3. For card number 1 and 2, we're going to use the same designer paper pad sheet. I'm going to cut it right now just so I'll have it ready. And we're going to go 3.5. And this one, 3.5 by 4 3/4. I'm going to set that one aside for card number 2. Now this one remaining is 2.5. We're going to cut that 4 1/4. And we're actually going to use this side. Okay. So we get 2 cards with 1 sheet of 6 by 6. And you can see here that I added the designer paper at the bottom of my card layer. The easiest way to do that is to go ahead and fold your card on the score line. Now this was 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and add some snail on the inside. I'm going to place this even with the bottom on the front. And then I'm just going to fold this over. And look how pretty that looks. So you have a piece on the inside. The ink I'm using on all 3 cards is Night of Navy. And I'm going to bring this little cute little flower border in. I'm going to ink that. Let's see if I can line it up straight. I'm going to try not to mess up on this set of cards. I'm going to center that right there. Oh, look how cute. Isn't that cute? I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Oh, I need to keep that. Okay, now we need to do some stamping. And the first one I need is the thank you for everything. Let me bring my pad in. We're going to stamp that at the top of the label. And then I added just some leaves that are going to be covered with the flowers. So here's my 2 leaves. We got a large one that I put on the bottom along with the little one. So let's go ahead and do one there. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Whoops, I almost did that one upside down. Okay, that's it for stamping. Pretty simple. Now we're going to go ahead and glue that in place. So for you guys that get card kits, you can come back and watch the video when it comes time to assemble your cards. Now I'm going to put this about 3/4 of an inch from the top. And now we get to glue some flowers. So I'm going to bring in dimensionals. We're going to start out with the 3 larger ones. I'm going to put dimensionals on everything so they're all ready to go. Then we've got the 3 smaller ones. I'm going to use the mini dimensionals on those. I like a lot of height on my cards. I know a lot of you guys know that. I'm going to move this ink pad because I can just see what's going to happen. We're going to add this one in the center. And then we're going to try to make sure that the leaves are covered. Let's see, that looks kind of funky. I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, there's the 3 flowers. Now I'm just going to fold these over and layer those over. Doesn't that fresh freesia look pretty with the Highland Heather? I think it's a great color combination. Okay, here's flower number 3. Then let me bring my bling in. We need to add some bling. Let's see, I used a darker blue. These come in 2 colors. There's a darker blue and a lighter blue. I'm going to go with the lighter one this time. We're going to do 3 of those. Did you guys see how sparkly these are? I hope I can capture that. It's almost like an iridescent finish on top. Okay, now I want to find a piece. Let me see if I can grab a scrap. I just want a little scrap. Because what I'm going to do with that is just add some liquid glue. And then I'm just going to do that with my leaves. It just makes it easier for me to tuck and glue. I just add glue on the back, whoops, by pressing in this liquid glue. And then I tuck and press. Okay, now here we have to make sure we don't cover any of the wording. So there's 1, 2. Let me bring that down just a tad. So look how, whoa, that could have been dangerous. So look how pretty of a card this is with all of the punched flowers. So there's card number 1 already. Look how quick. Which one's your favorite color? I bet most of you are going to say this one, the Highland Heather. Okay, there's card number 1. Let me set up card number 2. Don't know if I'll need my pad of paper. And we got the same colors on all 3 cards. Now this one, again, is going to have a cluster of 3, but we're going to stamp some flowers up top. And remember that this was patterned, the second piece of the designer paper that we cut ahead of time. And then for the rectangle, I used the stitched rectangles dies, and it's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the one that goes right here. So this would be number 5 with basic white. And we got all these flowers pre-punched. And this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And all of your card bases that you received are already pre-scored for you. I do all the pre-scoring. Basic white, 5 1/4 by 4. I think I'm gonna run out of adhesive. Okay, and this was the piece that we cut that measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. I'll just try to use little pieces so I don't run out. I don't have a clean one handy by, a new one. That's going to go right in the middle. Now we're going to stamp the big flower image. And if you were paying attention when I said I was using Night of Navy, doesn't the Night of Navy ink look good? I didn't use black, I didn't use brown, I used Night of Navy. Doesn't it look good with any of these colors? I just love that. Most of us always grab black or brown when we're doing some stamping. This is going to be off to the side. Pretty easy. Next we're going to do, let me see. I might as well do the sentiment while I got the ink. This is on Highland Heather. Little card, big thanks. And this time we're going to use the tailored tag punch. I'm so glad this didn't retire. It's one of my favorite punches for sentiments. Okay, so now let's go ahead and glue the stamped rectangle. It's going to go right in the middle. And here we go with flowers again. Let's bring those all in. So we need the 3 large ones. And yes, we're doing dimensionals again. I know a lot of you guys tease me because I use a lot of dimensionals. I just can't make flat cards. I just think they're so boring. Okay. Actually, I need to do the sentiment first. And you can see that I overlapped it a little bit on the white layer. So we're going to bring that over right about there. And now we're going to add the flowers. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm just plopping them wherever they land. Okay, and here's 1. Wait, where did my third little one go? I just lost, oh, right here. Whew. I haven't lost anything, you guys, yet on the video. I always lose something every time I do a live video. So far, so good. Okay, let's go with the bling. You guys are going to love putting these card kits together. They're so fun. Okay, let's bring the little scrap piece in again. Add some more glue. And again, I have 3 large and 3 small leaves. Just gonna tuck and press. Whoops. I should have taken my take your pick tool out too. That would help. Okay, here's my cluster number 2. There's the large one. Oh, I just love these colors together. I was hoping it was going to look good. Let me lift up this petal. And let's see, we're going to go this way with that big one. And we only got 1 card left to do. Okay. There's card number 2 from your kit, your free card kit. Now, let me regroup here for a second. And number 3, this is the final card from the 3 make and takes and the final card of the day. Now I am going to have to do some punching this time only because my flowers are all stamped and punched, and you can see that I paper pierced some of them right here. I'll show you how to do that. This card base is soft seafoam 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. Now I've gone ahead and cut the basic white, and this is 3 by 4, and I embossed it with the new bark folder, embossing folder. I'll see if I can show you that up front. Both sides are equally beautiful. And because this is so bumpy, I'm actually going to add liquid glue. Where is my little scrap of paper? Yeah, see? I didn't want something to sit on that. I'm going to glue this down at an angle. And then here is designer paper number 2 that you guys are going to get with your package. We're going to cut it the same as the white piece. It's going to be 3 by 4. And I really like this little polka dot side. We're actually going to stamp right on that. I'm going to bring the flower image back in. So we're stamping direct to designer paper. Okay, there's that. Now we need some flowers. We're going to use the fresh freezer, but first I'm going to do the sentiment just so I make sure I leave enough room. This one says, life is better with friends like you. And we're going to cut that out with the rectangular postage punch. Okay, so we've got that layer. So now what we need is 2 large flowers, 1 small flower. So I'm going to bring that in. And a tip, always look to see how your flower is facing on your punch. So this one is up and down like that. So I'm going to do 2 of those. I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. So there's 1. Number 2. Now we need a small one, and it kind of goes like an X. We're probably going to waste. I'm going to actually do it right here because it's going to cut up here. We're going to waste. So let's do that one. Face it like an X. And you can see that it's going to cut right where that hole is, which is not a big deal. So you're not losing any cardstock. Okay, so 1 little one. And then we need a few leaves. So that's with the soft sea foam. And again, the large leaf is going that way. And I need 2 of them. So let's do those first. Oh, you know what? I should have turned this. I should have turned this over. I did the opposite of what I needed to do. I don't even know if I can still... Yeah, I'm still going to waste. Okay, there's 1. 2. And if you're really, really good, you could actually take this and try to stamp on it, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, now the small one is facing that way. So I'm going to stamp it like that. It's kind of fun to put this all together. Okay, let's get rid of this mess here. So we need 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully I didn't lose anything. Now we just need to assemble all of our pieces. This is going to go down flat. I'm going to put quite a bit of adhesive only because it's bumpy. Next, I'm going to do the flower that goes down below. Okay, I need to find my dimensionals. Those I will never lose because I have a stash of those. Okay, it's going to go right below the petals. And we've got a mini. Oops, I got 2 there. Now, if you'll notice, I have the petals on here. So I'm going to bring in my paper snips and actually just snip those apart. Make sure they're nice and neat. Don't worry about the middle because we're going to put a piece of bling there. A whole bling, not a piece. I just want to make sure I round up my petals. And what I did is I just followed the flower that's there already. So I'm going to add adhesive to the 2 outside ones. I'm going to cover those. And then I added a little bit, I need to push that in more, a little bit of liquid glue just on the bottom here because I'm going to actually glue that flat, but I'm going to raise the top of it. Whoops. So you'll see how this will be flat only because I want to add my bling there, and it needs to be flat to be able to go on all three. So I'm just going to hold that down. Bring in my bling. So now it's nice and flat. And I use the two smaller ones on this one. And all we've got left is our dimensionals on this. Oh no, we got leaves left. Never mind, scratch that. I'm just gonna tuck that under, about there. Bring in my little glue. I should have enough to finish this off. There's a big one and a little one and my last one, which is another big one. And there is card number 3. Now, let me see if I can bring in all of the projects that I did for you today. And like I said, someone is going to be chosen. You'll just have to fill out my door prize form that I'll add. So this was the first one with the corner book fold. My next set was the ones with the Memories and More card pack. So 1, 2, and 3. And of course I have 2 sets of those. And we've got 1 set, number 2, and number 3. So I hope you guys enjoyed my workshop for this month. I know it's not the same as me being live, but for now, this is how I'm going to do my workshops. Make sure you stay around for the rest of my posts. I'll be showing you pictures of all the projects, my door prize sign up, and I have a few other things I'm going to post today. If you have any questions, make sure you ask, and I will be monitoring the comments. And I hope to see you again next month. Have a good day, everyone, and thanks for visiting with me.